played more purposefully, they played more connected. They were tougher than us tonight, and they handed it to us. And that being said, we got to learn from this. We've obviously gone to new heights this year, but we got to let the pain of this hopefully teach us to go to new heights next year and learn from this and be better the next time. Really unusual to be in this position at the Final Four and have 0 seniors in your locker room, and to have an opportunity to come back stronger, more connected, learning from this experience and be better the next time. And at the same time wanting to honor our team for all the firsts that they had, how they represented UCLA on and off the court, how they took us on a ride that has never happened at UCLA in a long time, and just really proud of their effort, the way they grew, the new things they accomplished. And so trying to balance that, we weren't our best selves tonight. And that being said, it's a 3-loss season. And I'm really proud of not only what they've accomplished, but the way in which they've gone about their work. And, we'll be better next time we're here.
Thank you, Coach. At this time, we're going to open up our questions for our student athlete. We'll start on our right-hand side right here, and then we'll move up to you, Sabina.
Hi, Bella Munson with the Next. For either of you, you had 14 turnovers in the first half compared to 5 in the second half, and that's when UConn really grew their lead. So what would you attribute those early turnovers to, and was it sort of difficult to come back confidence-wise once they had forced so many turnovers?
Yeah, I think turnovers is really what killed us in the first half, just because didn't have, shot attempts at the basket. We always have talked about this year, we need the ball to score, and when we have the ball and we take care of the ball, we're a really good team. But I think it was difficult for us to get in rhythm, both offensively and defensively. We're continuously turning the ball over, and they're a great defensive team. But we just had to be stronger and tougher in those moments, and just smarter. We had a lot of uncharacteristic turnovers, I felt. And we'll learn from it and we'll get better. But yeah.
Take our next question, still staying to our right-hand side.
Sabrina Merchant, The Athletic. It's really rare for a team to come to the Final Four and win a title on their first try. I'm wondering, now that you've been on this stage and gone through all of the stuff that accompanies the Final Four, is there anything that has surprised you or that you needed to get used to this week?
No, I just think we need to show up more prepared and ready to win. And that has nothing to do with the coaches. That's everything to do with us. And I feel like, like Coach Cori said, we have the same team coming next year, and I hope this fuels us, and I hope that we come out angry after this. So.
We're going to stay to the center. This is kind of our left-hand side. If you please proceed.
Kurt Sandoval with ABC7. Ladies, when you look at the slow start, it felt like, for lack of a better word, you guys were trying to push it. Did it feel that way, or how would you describe once you started slow, trying to get back into this?
Yeah, I think it was just difficult for us to find a rhythm at times because of the turnovers and because we just kind of weren't in our typical flow. And I think, when you play against a really good team, which every team at this level is very good at this point in the year, you got to do the little things right. And, there's not a ton of margin for error, and we had too many errors today.
We're going to go to our right. Excuse me, that's our left. We're going to go to our left.
For Kiki, Iragorwa, Daily Britain. For Kiki, I know it must be tough to hear it now, a lot of emotions after that, but as Coach said, this was a season of firsts, a lot to celebrate after this season. You wrote, "We will go to a Final Four" in a journal every day for a year. Can you just speak about that? How proud are you of this team to make it this far? What is there to celebrate, and what are you going to take away from this year?
Yeah, it obviously sucks right now, but I think I'll do my best, and we'll all do our best to not forget what a fantastic year this was. So many firsts in program history, and to be in the Final Four and to be still playing at this time of the year is a blessing. And I think we all put in so much work to get to this point, coaches, players, entire support staff, and we'll remember that, and our loss here will fuel us because we have a lot going forward for us. But I think at the end of the day, we lost 3 games this entire year, and it sucks right now. But I think looking back, we'll be very grateful.
We're gonna shift to our right towards the back.
Taking a win with the LA Times for Kiki. You guys had a timeout late in the second quarter. It was about like 1:38 left, and coach called the timeout, but you kind of pulled all your teammates together before the coaches could come in. What was kind of your message there to your teammates? And for Lauren, speaking, if you could speak to kind of Kiki's leadership and how it kind of set you guys up for next season to kind of come back after this.
I can't remember exactly what I said at that timeout, but I think I was just trying to the entire game just preach to our team, like to settle down, calm down, and enjoy it, and and play free, because we have prepared well. We are prepared for the moment, but to play basketball. We know how to do this. We know how to take care of the ball. We know how to make the right reads, and I think we still struggle to do that throughout the game. But I think it's hard when we haven't been in this moment. But I still think that we're obviously a much better team than what we showed today. I think we've showed that in 30+ games throughout the entire year. But yeah, I'm just trying to calm us down, and I feel like that's kind of my role in terms of local leadership, just to bring calmness and try to stay it straight and just be clear.
Yeah, Kiki's grown so much as a leader, and I think this past season she's just really taken on that role, and that's something that she's really wanted to work on. I'm just really proud of her, because I felt like today we just really needed that calming presence. After they went on runs over and over and over again, I think that Kiki just continued to communicate what we needed to do and just easy fixes, and I think that's what we really needed, not so much emotion, but just what do we need to do to move on and get this game going our way. So I just really appreciate how much she's grown, and I love playing with Kiki. I just feel like she helps me so much out there. So.
Kareem, if you raise your hand, we'll get the mic over to you.
Hey y'all, Cori Close, Washington Post. One more for you, Kiki, on the uncharacteristic turnovers. Did you feel like they were doing something that kind of forced them, or do you think that was a little bit more self-inflicted?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was self-inflicted, because we have played against a ton of different defenses this year. So they were getting around the post well, they were pressuring, but we played against those kind of teams throughout the entire year. We figured out ways to take care of the ball. But I said to us at a certain point, I think it's both on the passer and the receiver. We needed to come to the ball. If you're receiving the pass, we needed to make strong, crisp passes if you were the one passing. And I felt like there wasn't always connection between both the passer and the receiver all the time on the court, because they were just able to get in front, get hands on balls, and they're winning those 50-50s.
I'm gonna go to our left.
Question is directed toward Lauren. Yes, I got it right this time. It's not more than us, South Florida Tribune. Coach, thank you for yesterday. Two-part question. Number one, I've noticed what a good scorer you are and a rebounder. How much more can you build those areas, and what other areas do you have to improve? And the second part of that question is this. The women got to the Final Four for the first time. When you look at the men's success over the years and John Wooden over the years, is this something that you guys could build on now that you've crossed Final Four territory, and now look at the men's program as a way to go ahead and build a foundation for what you guys have done? And do you ever look at the men's program a little bit as a way to continue to build the UCLA basketball tradition?
With the first question, I think that me personally, I always talk about how there's so much room to improve, and obviously going into this postseason, I'm sure Coach Shannon will look through the film and figure out how I could have done better today and all these past games. But I think just continuing to create easier shots for myself where I don't have to put the ball on the ground and bring double teams, I think is going to be really important for me. And then just continuing to work on my reads, kicking out, making sure I'm finding my teammates when I need to. And then to answer your second part, I have so much respect for this men's program at UCLA. I think they've really built a great foundation as far as basketball, but I think that we're trying to create our own legacy, and I think this team is one of the greatest teams to ever compete at this level, and I think that we're trying to kind of just create our own path. And so to be honest, right now I'm just worried about these girls that we have on this team and what we're gonna do, because I know next year we're gonna learn from this and we're gonna come back even better. So
Thank you.
We're gonna take our next two questions in the second row. So we'll stay here.
This is O'Connor with Sparkle Media. The last 2 years, Iowa helped take the Big Ten to a new height. The last time that Big Ten won was 1999. Obviously, this is your first year with the Big Ten between you and USC. Can you talk about the impact that you guys have had on the conference so far? And obviously, based on what Iowa have done in the last 2 years, what you guys can do as a team going forward to capitalize on that?
Is that a question for both?
Yes, I apologize. Yes, it is.
We'll start with Kiki.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been great to be in the Big Ten Conference this year. I think it's prepared us in a lot of ways for the stage and for the NCAA tournament. I mean, I think the competition that we face on a weekly basis is is really good for us because we're just pushing every single game. And yeah, I mean, I think us and SC joining that conference, it's helped elevate the conference as well. I mean, we were the two teams that played in the Big Ten Conference Championship, and we'll be great next year. SC will be great, and there'll be a lot of really good teams in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that. I mean, I just think, like Kiki said, I think the Big Ten did a really good job just preparing us for games like this, and obviously there's just so much room for us to improve, but yeah, like Kiki said, I just think it was a really good, growing process for all of us. So.
Lauren, you mentioned being mad about the way this game went down. How do you take that and harness it to those improvements that you're trying to make, or is that something that you're still trying to figure out?
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Shannon about it. I think just, taking this sadness and anger and just making sure that, next year, preparing for, this next season, just making sure that, we're holding the standard from the very beginning and not letting up, and just making sure that everyone's on the same page, because obviously we know what it takes. Obviously at this point we saw. And yeah, I just think that, us as leadership, we're obviously going to make sure that we just bring that competitiveness every single day, because that's what we need.
We're gonna go back to our right-hand side, right in front of the column.
Obviously this season just ended, but looking forward to next season and knowing you have the whole season to improve yourselves and try to get back to this position, are there specific things you think you would work on having the experience from this season that you think would help you get back to this position next year, if that makes sense?
And again, is this for both?
Yes.
We'll start with Lauren.
Go ahead, Kiki. I'll let you go first.
I mean, I think just continuing to build in our toughness. I think that's an area where we improved a lot this past off season, and we'll get better individually, skill wise, and collectively. The sets we run and all that kind of stuff. But I think at this stage, like I said, it really comes down to just executing small things and being, tougher, more together team, and having this experience will show us that we need to be ready when we come to play these games, and I think that will really help us all going forward.
Yeah, to add to that, I would just say, I think our urgency and our competitiveness, I think we kind of lacked that a little bit today. Just recognizing this is the Final Four and our season is on the line, so we really need to recognize the moment that we're in and play like it. And, we need everybody to show up that way. So
We're gonna take our final question via Zoom. Joe Pachowski, you are now permitted to talk. Please proceed with your question. Joe, your line's unmuted. Please proceed.
Sorry, Zoom issues. Joe Pachowski, the Mighty Bruin. This question is for both players. It seemed like you were the team was out of sorts from the very beginning, compared to what we've seen in previous games. Was there something in particular that you can point to that kind of explains what why that seemed to be the case tonight?
I think they were just tougher in the beginning. I mean, I think that's the only way I can put it. I think they just played with they just played more together, and we knew that UConn was going to run their sets really well. It's what they do, and I think that as a team, I just felt we talked about it in the timeout, just defensively, just coming out with a lot more aggression and just making it harder on them. I feel like we just kind of let them do whatever they want out there. So from the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that, what Lauren said. I think in a way we kind of were looking for things to just settle in and for things to come to us, and I think we needed to go out and take the game and to go make plays, not have plays happen to us.
Thank you, ladies.
Good job, ladies.